So Maureen Ogweno from JCVs, and just to talk about our company. JCVs is a human resource consulting firm that provides a number of services targeted to enhancing job applicants' professional branding and employability. Among our services include ATS optimized CV and cover letters. We have job application and support, LinkedIn optimization. We also have recruitment services, interview or career coaching, and lastly, HR consultancy services. Our company has our core values that we abide with on a daily. That includes accountability, integrity, respect, teamwork, excellence, innovation, and to top it all off, we are customer focused. Again, our webinar today, the title will be Soft Skill Development, and I'm your host, Maureen. And our speaker will be Michell Nyambura. She'll be joining you later on. So before we start, I would like for us to start with a word of prayer and then proceed to the webinar. So we can have a word of prayer. Heavenly King, we come before you this evening for yet another day. We are thankful for giving us this day mighty that we are able to reach this far. As we are going to start our webinar, King of Glory, we pray that you may go ahead of us, help this information be good to us and beneficial, Heavenly Master. And as it comes to an end, we'll give you glory and thanks. It is in Jesus' name I do pray and believe. Amen. So just a brief introduction. Soft skill development. Fostering soft skill is about improving personality traits, including flexibility, problem solving, communication, and collaboration, just to mention a few, as our speaker will be expounding on the same. Soft skills are vital for long-term success because, in contrast to technical talents, they are transferable across different positions. Again, thank you so much for joining us. That will be all from me for now. I'll be joining you later. As the webinar continues, you may have any questions for us, you may put them in the side chat so that we may read them at the end of the session. You're welcome, and I hope this session becomes informative to you. Michelle?
Maureen, you can hold on a minute. You can just engage the audience. Michelle is joining. She had an issue with her. She had an issue with her Nini, but she's joining. I think she's just joined.
Okay.
Let me have her added as a. Michelle, you can start. Michelle, you can start with the introduction as we enable you to be a host. Michelle, I think the floor is yours.
Hi everyone. Sorry about the hiccups. My name is Michell Nyambura, HR and admin assistant at Outribal HR. Just a brief overview of what Outribal HR does. We are a HR consultancy firm. We are located at Wilson Airport in Air Building. We handle all HR services all round, from recruitment to talent management, performance management. We do trainings as well, and we also have a TV show on Elevate TV that's aired every Monday from 7:30 p.m. It's called Empower with Beatrice Chuchu. And on to today's topic. Let me try and see if I can share the screen. Just a minute. Uh, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, it is, but it's not moving. Yes, it's visible.
What about right now? Can you see it in full screen?
Yes, it is. It's
What
visible.
is what's visible, like showing on my end?
Soft skill development, HR solutions, your successes, our commitment.
Okay. So, on to soft skill development. So, soft skills are personal that enable actively and harmoniously with. We've all heard about soft skills. I'm sure we've all come across the term soft skills as well as hard skills. And there's in a, both ends are important and essential, especially in the workplace, and not even in the workplace, and as well as in your personal lives. Uh, the main difference between them is that when it comes to hard skills are now the technical skills, but when it comes to soft skills, it's more of the interpersonal skills that enable a conversation to pull through, that enable the sharing of information, effective sharing of information, and all that. So soft skills are generally just personal attributes that enable someone to interact effectively honestly with others. So why are these soft skills important? So number one, soft skills lead to improved work collaboration. You know, so when we talk about soft skills, in that you get to know about communication skills, the attributes such as empathy and all that. When you have good soft skills, they lead to improved work collaboration. You can be able to effectively collaborate with your team members, maybe at work and even in your personal endeavors. So number two, it leads to enhancement of leadership and management abilities. The same thing. A good leader, when a good leader goes when we talk about good leadership, it all goes down to personal attributes. This person needs to have certain personal attributes for that person to be called a leader, or for that person to effectively lead a team. So number three, it leads to better client and customer relationships. Uh, the same thing. How do you interact with the clients? How do you communicate with your clients? So if you have good soft skills, it leads to better client and customer relationships. As well, it leads to adaptability. It facilitates adaptability in a changing workplace. When you have good soft skills, you become resilient. You can adapt to different changing work conditions and all that. Also, it's essential in problem solving and critical thinking. And then another one, it boosts overall job performance and career advancement, as well as creating a positive work environment. So with when you have those soft skills, such as let's say you have good communication skills, you're able to relate well with your team members. It it creates that positive work environment whereby you people are able to communicate clearly and you're able to understand each other in depth. uh, we have There's some key soft skills categories, and number one, we have communication skills. We also have emotional intelligence, and then we also have problem solving and critical thinking, and then we also have teamwork and collaboration, adaptability and flexibility, as well as leadership and responsibility. So we are going to look at this. There are six categories. We are going to look at them in detail, and we are going to start with communication skills. When you go to communication skills, basically they refer to the ability to convey information clearly and effectively in various formats. That can be verbally, it can be in written communication or non-verbal communication. So effective communication is key to success in the workplace, as it ensures information is shared accurately, ideas are exchanged, and relationships are built. So previously I've mentioned that there are three categories of communication skills. We have nonverbal communication, we have verbal communication, and we also have written communication. So when we start with verbal communication refers to communicating by the way of a spoken language. Like the way I'm doing right now, I'm speaking verbally. Uh, in a way that I'm using my words to communicate the information, to relay this information that I'm relaying right now. And we have some key elements for effective verbal communication. Number one, we have clarity. In clarity, you need to use simple language and speak in a way that your audience can understand easily. You don't you don't you don't need to, okay, like, be brief, go straight to the point, and speak in a way that everyone else can understand. You can't come and start speaking Luo to, like, diversely. You don't even know where everyone is coming from, and like you expect them to understand the information that you're trying to relay and for them to put it in action. So that goes on to clarity. You need to be clear in the information you're trying to relay. Use a language that everyone else can understand, and just speak in a way that your audience can understand easily. Number two, we have the tone of voice. Tone conveys emotions and attitudes. Be mindful of how your tone may impact the receiver. For example, when I come here shouting, uh, you might assume that I'm mad about something, you know. But when I come speaking in a calm, like, the different tones in how we speak convey different informations. I might come and tell you this, like one thing in a calm tone, and come and tell you the same thing in when I'm shouting, like when I'm shouting at you. Those two things, in as much as I'll be saying the same statement, they will not be they will not be received the same way. So the tone of your voice, when you're delivering verbal information matters a lot. Number three, we have audience awareness. You should tailor your message based on who you are communicating with. For example, you can talk to a client the same way you'll talk to a colleague. You see, when you're talking to a client, there's a lot of formalities, and like, of course, when you're talking to a colleague, there will be that formality, but you can't compare like the formality, because your colleague is someone you see on a daily basis, and it's someone you've gotten to learn. You know how they react to things and all that. But this is a client. When it comes to a client, for a client it's different, because this is someone that you're hoping to do business with. This person doesn't know you on a personal level. So you need to be aware of who you're talking to and how you need to talk to them. So you need to understand the audience. You need to understand who you're talking to. Just like in the office, the same way you talk to your colleague is not the same way you'll talk to your boss. You see, so like the audience, you need to know who you're talking to. So number one, we've said you need to be clear. You need to be clear about the information you're trying to convey. Then you need to watch the tone of your voice as you convey that information. So as we've said, is someone has a question? Okay. Uh, you said number one, you need to be clear of the information that you're trying to relay, and then you need to watch the tone of your voice as you relay that information, and then you also need to consider the audience that you're trying to talk to, the audience that you're trying to relay this information to. Okay, some of the examples of verbal communication, we have a manager giving instruction to the team verbally. We know that a manager can give instruction to the team in different ways. It can be the manager can draft a memo and all that, but in this case I'm talking about verbally, just like the same way I'm trying to talk to you guys right now. So that's a form of verbal communication. There's also engaging in productive meetings with clients and stakeholders, and that is an when you're having a virtual meeting, but you're not sending each other emails and all that, you guys are having a one-on-one conversation. That's also verbal communication. Then there's also presenting ideas in meetings confidently and concisely. Let's say when you're told to pitch your ideas in a meeting, you need to have the key elements that you've talked about for effective verbal communication. You need to apply all of that in when you're presenting those ideas. Okay. Then the next category of communication, you said there is nonverbal communication. This refers to the use of body language, facial expressions, gestures, and posture to communicate without words. Okay. Different from verbal communication. You're all for both of the aspects, you're trying to relay a certain information. But now the difference is the first one, verbal communication, you use your words to convey that information. But when it comes to non-verbal communication, you use facial expressions, you use body language, gestures, and posture to communicate. You don't necessarily say the words, but your facial expressions or your body language already shows what you're trying to communicate. Okay, for example, when someone nods at you, that's you already know that this person is saying yes by just nodding their head. So some of the key elements for effective nonverbal communication, we have body language. For body language, open body posture and eye contact signal attentiveness and honesty, while crossed arms may indicate defensiveness. And this goes down to even when you now me saying this from a recruiter's point of view, because I'm also a recruiter. When a candidate comes in and they can't even like amekunja mikono, not maintaining eye contact, there's an information that already relays even before that candidate starts speaking. So akiwa amekunja mikono, no eye contact, it shows disinterest even in a normal conversation, not even in an interview, even in a normal conversation. When someone is not giving you that eye contact, it directly translates to this person is not paying attention. See, so your posture, eye contact, you see someone who's looking down, crossing their hands and all that, that might relay information that you're not interested in, and that might not be your intention. You see, so you need to work on your body language, uh, have an open body posture, and maintain eye contact with the person you're trying to communicate with. Then the second element is facial expressions. Smiling, nodding, and maintaining appropriate expressions based on the situation show empathy and understanding. uh, your boss can't come uh, trying to relay an important instruction, and then he or she comes smiling, or just not taking the situation seriously. Someone who comes smiling, like the subordinates will not take it as a serious thing. You get me? They will not take it as a serious thing. Also, in a normal conversation, you can't go relay some bad news, let's say, to your colleague. You're relaying some bad news, and you're smiling. You need to adapt your facial expressions and body language to like for it to align to the information you're trying to relay. Then there's also gestures. Hand movements and nodding can enhance verbal messages, but should not be excessive or distracting. There are some people who like to talk with their hands a lot, which is not bad, because sometimes it emphasizes what they're trying to say. But once it's used, that person starts overusing those hand gestures and all that, it becomes no distracting. They are good to use, but you should not use them in excess. So examples of nonverbal conversations, just like I had mentioned before, we have nodding to show understanding while listening, and there's also maintaining contact during a conversation to convey trust and interest. uh, the third category of communication, we say there is written communication. Written communication refers to now the written, like those words that you're trying to say verbally, now putting them in writing. For example, in emails, reports, drafting memos, or even on social media posts. So now written communication refers to the use of written words to convey information. So some of the key elements for effective written communication, you have grammar and punctuation. Uh, using of ensure your writing is grammatically correct and free of errors. When you have a lot of grammatical errors, it draws attention from what you are intending to. It becomes distracting. It draws attention from what you are intending to relay. Now it becomes, how do I say it? It distracts your audience from the information that you are trying to relay, because if you have a lot of grammatical errors, it will be hard for that person to even understand what you are trying to say. Also, punctuations: put commas where they're supposed to be commas, put exclamation marks where they're supposed to be there, full stops and all that. Like, make sure your statements are grammatically correct and the punctuations are on point. The second element is conciseness. Be concise, especially in professional emails and reports. Do not put a lot of unnecessary information. Avoid being wordy, for you to ensure that you communicate what you're trying to communicate briefly and to the point, in a way that you're not missing out on the important points that you're trying to mention, but you're also not being too wordy. So just draft it in a way that this person, the person that you're trying to communicate to, will understand easily without you being wordy. The third element is tone. Just like in verbal communication, tone matters in writing. Be professional, cautious, and appropriate to the situation. Uh, just be you need to speak in a professional manner. Even as you draft your emails, ensure that you're addressing the person that you're trying to address in a professional manner. You're being respectful in the message that you're trying to draft and send to them. So just like in verbal communication, the tone matters as well in written communications. Examples of written communications, we have writing clear and concise emails to clients or team members. Then we also have drafting well organized reports or proposals. And we also have composing memos or meeting notes that are easy to understand. Then under communication, we have now listening, because communication now you're trying to relay that information, but now it how the other person takes it also matters. Are they listening? Are they really listening to you? Are they getting the information that you're trying to sent to them? So listening skills refer to the ability to actively listen and understand the messages being communicated to you. So the ability to actively listen and understand, you decipher that information that is trying to, that the person who's trying to communicate to you is trying to send. So some of the key elements of effective listening, we have now active listening. You should focus on the speaker, avoid interrupting, and respond thoughtfully. Really listen to what that speaker is trying to tell you, and now do not interrupt. Some people have the habit of interrupting others even before they finish their statements. And now when you interrupt me when I'm in the middle of the statement, you will not even get to understand what I'm trying to tell you. You see, so you should listen carefully, and then do not interrupt. And once the chance comes for you to respond thoughtfully in regards to what I've told you. Then another element of effective listening skills, we have paraphrasing and clarification. Now, after the information has been given to you, you now try and paraphrase the whole information that has been given to you. You try and paraphrase it in your own words so that you confirm that you understood what that person was actually trying to tell you. Then we have nonverbal cues, such as nodding, smiling, and use of eye contact to show that you're paying attention. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with someone who's not reacting at all, and now you're left wondering, is this person really listening to me, or am I just talking to myself? So you need to show that you need to engage. You need to show that you're part of the conversation. You're listening and you're understanding what the speaker is trying to tell you. So you need to use the nonverbal cues such as nod, smile, and also especially maintaining eye contact. Maintaining eye contact is very important. In even example for job seekers, when you've been invited for an interview, right? And you don't, as recruiters, that's part of the marks that we give you, maintaining how well do you maintain eye contact. Kazi yako ni kuchora maps hapo, ama you really like interested in the conversation, you're maintaining eye contact. Even when your boss is trying to talk to you, ama when your colleague is trying to talk to you, maintaining eye contact is very important, because it shows that person that you're really paying attention and you're interested in what they are trying to communicate to you, right? And when someone nods in a conversation, let's say your team is trying to discuss something, and someone is talking to you and you're nodding throughout the conversation, it shows that person that you're paying attention and you're understanding what they're trying to tell you. So some of the benefits of strong communication skills in the workplace. Number one, we have better team collaboration. So clear communication helps teams work more effectively together by reducing misunderstandings and ensuring everyone is on the same page. So when you're working in a team and you have clear communication, by clear communication, we're saying that you have all the attributes that we said are part of making communication effective. When you're working in that team, the team members are able to relate to you well if you're effectively communicating with each other. So everyone is able to understand each other, and you all get to understand that you're on the same page. So it promotes collaboration within teams. And then a second benefit is it increases efficiency. When communication is clear and concise, tasks are executed more efficiently, and time isn't wasted on correcting errors or re-explaining instructions. Clear communication, one attribute that we say is part of effective communication is clarity. With clarity, everyone gets to know what is expected of them and when it's expected from them. You see, so by that, when you already know what is expected from you in a certain setting, you will do it to you, like you will be held accountable for that thing that you've been told, that segment that you've been told to work on. You'll be held accountable for it. So it avoids, when it's clear to you, it avoids wasting time, because you already know what you're supposed to be doing. So there's increased efficiency, and because you're not wasting time on asking what you're supposed to be doing and all that. Then there's improved client relationships. Effective communication with clients builds trust, enhances satisfaction, and improves overall business relationships. So, with strong communication skills, even just us in our personal interactions and all that, maybe from where we shop and all that, there must have been something that drew you to that business. That person must, let's say it's a certain shop that you go to, and you're loyal to that shop. There has to be something that that shopkeeper must have done to win your trust and loyalty. You see, that person, you can't continuously go back to a place that you don't feel heard. You can't continuously take your business to a place that you don't feel valued. You see, so effective communication builds the trust. And then when you go to a certain shop and they serve you well, I mean, when you go to a certain company and they serve you well, you will be satisfied. So you see, it has enhanced the satisfaction. And when I'm satisfied, I will go back for business again. I will go, when I think about doing the same thing, I will go back to the same company again. You see, so you will be able. Effective communication helps you to even retain your customers. It helps you to build that loyalty and trust with your clients. Another benefit is greater leadership potential. I think I mentioned this earlier, that strong communication skills, there are some, these interpersonal attributes, there's some interpersonal attributes that make someone a leader. You don't just become a leader because of the title leader. You need to be someone who communicates well. You need to be someone who listens effectively, and someone who can lead a team. You see, so strong communicators are often seen as natural leaders. Uh, Another category, you see, we said some of the categories of soft skills. We've talked about communication skills. So the second category, we had emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and influence our own emotions and emotions of others. It refers to the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and influence our own emotions and emotions of others. It puts you in a position whereby you're able to understand your own emotions and articulate the emotions of other people around you. It plays a critical role in how we interact with others, make decisions, and navigate the complexities of social environments. Emotional intelligence is what helps us stay and work effectively, even in teams, even at work and all that. Effective communication is like emotional intelligence plays a great part in how we interact with others in the social environment, I mean your friends, with your co-workers, with your superiors, with your subordinates, all that. So some of the components of emotional intelligence. Number one, we have self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions, strengths, weaknesses, values, and motivations. Self-awareness allows individuals to understand how their emotions affect their thoughts and behaviors, leading to better decision making. So emotional intelligence starts with you. How well do you know yourself before you can tend to others? How well do you know yourself? How well do you know, like, how do you react to certain situations? what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are some of your values, what motivates you, and all that. It goes down to how well you know yourself. You need to be self-aware first, because before you can tend to others. So self-awareness is the first component. uh, the second component is self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to manage one's emotions and impulses. It involves controlling emotional reactions, maintaining calm under pressure, and thinking before acting. Again, after you know yourself, after you've known that this is my weakness, let's say you know that you don't like being shouted to. Maybe you react adversely when you're shouted to. And let's say at work, uh, your boss shouts at you when you've not met your deadlines and all that. So how how can you control that? You can control that maybe by ensuring that you meet those deadlines on time and all that. And you also know how to, like, by knowing how you react to these situations, it helps you prevent those situations from going overboard. And all that, by knowing how you react to certain things, it helps you be calm when you're under pressure and all that. So the third component is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It helps in building relationships and responding to the emotional needs of others. For example, but let's say you're the HR in a certain organization, and one of your colleagues has lost maybe their loved ones, uh, and or maybe has been going through something, personal issues that have been weighing so heavy on them. You can't just, you need to be, you need to be human enough. And human enough, I mean, you need to be empathetic to the situation that your colleague is facing. You see, there are certain things that you can't do. For example, you are supposed to you are supposed to give your colleague a show course, right? You're supposed to give them a show course, and then right before you gave them that, they lost maybe they lost their loved one. You can't just deliver. You need to be emotionally intelligent. You need to know when to say certain things and how to say them. You need to be empathetic. You need to show them that you're empathizing with their situation, and that way they'll be able to even trust you. Then the fourth component is social skills. This encompasses the ability to build and maintain healthy relationships. Socially skilled, sorry, okay. Socially skilled individuals can communicate clearly, inspire and influence others, and effectively manage conflict. You need to know how to relate with other people socially. You need to know how to relate with others. For you to be able to communicate, you need to know how to tailor your, even the way you talk, how you talk, the message that you're intending to relay. You need to have the social skills. You need to understand. It goes down to understanding the audience, just as we said earlier. You need to understand the audience for you to be able to communicate clearly and influence others to maybe subscribe to the idea that you're trying to sell to them. um, So, why is emotional intelligence important? So, number one, it leads to better communication. So, high emotionally intelligent individuals tend to communicate better, as they can understand and respond to others' emotions, leading to clearer and more meaningful exchanges. So, when you're emotionally intelligent, you'll be able to empathize with the current situation that's going on. You'll be able to communicate better. You When you're emotionally intelligent, you're able to understand a person's character. That person that you're trying to communicate to, you're able to understand their character, and you're able to understand how they take situations and all that. So that way you'll be able to structure the information that you're trying to relay in a way that it will be positively received by, even by the recipient, because the main objective of communication is trying to relay a certain information. And for that information to be caught in the right manner, you need to be emotionally intelligent. So emotional intelligence also mean it also leads to better team collaboration. as we've said, if you're emotionally intelligent, you'll be able to navigate the interpersonal dynamics. You'll be able to even you'll be able to understand the audience that you're working with, in that if there are conflicts and all that, you know how to go about them in a way that won't be a setback to the whole thing, to the whole thing of relaying that information. When you're emotionally intelligent, you will know how to navigate the interpersonal dynamics, resolve conflicts, and foster positive team collaboration. um, the third benefit is leadership effectiveness. Emotionally intelligent individuals can motivate and inspire their teams, build trust, and create a supportive work culture. We've all been say I've mentioned this a couple of times. A leader, there are some attributes that you need to have for you to be a leader, a natural leader, not just having the title leader. Having the title leader is not enough. You need to be emotionally intelligent. You need to empathize with your team for you to be able to lead them effectively. You need to understand what your team is going through, what they are about, and all that. You need to understand the dynamics of that team for you to be able to lead and inspire them. uh, Emotional intelligence also enhances adaptability. When you're able to manage your own emotions, you'll be able to handle stress that comes with change. See, because when you talk about adaptability, the first thing that comes to mind is change, right? So when you're emotionally intelligent, you will know how to adapt to certain changes, even let's say changes in the work conditions, changes, let's say you get a new boss and all that. If you're emotionally intelligent, you'll be able to deal with whoever and at whatever time. um the third category of soft skills, we have problem solving and critical thinking. So, problem solving and critical thinking are essential soft skills in the workplace. Um, allowing individuals to navigate complex situations effectively, make informed decisions, and innovative solutions. Problem solving refers to the process of identifying a challenge, analyzing the factors contributing to it, and developing strategies to resolve it. This skill involves a systematic approach to finding solutions. Um, when you think about problem solving, the main problem solving, even just from the word, you're solving a problem, right? So you through problem solving, you're able to find solutions to problems and all that. Critical thinking, on the other hand, refers to the ability to evaluate information objectively, recognize biases, assess arguments, and draw reasoned conclusions. So now, critical thinking goes down to the scrutiny of the whole thing. Now you're able to analyze a certain problem in detail, and then you recognize the biases, assess the arguments. Like, you're looking at a certain problem now in detail, you analytically now, for you to now draw conclusions, and maybe now from there now come up with solutions. Critical thinkers can analyze situations from multiple perspectives, and anticipate potential consequences. A critical thinker doesn't We have critical thinkers are open-minded, in a way that they don't just look at things from their own perspectives. You see, you might be thinking something is right your way, but when you start looking at it, when someone gives you another idea, or you yourself start looking at it at different angles, now you're critically thinking about it, and that increases the chances of you coming to a well thought conclusion. So critical thinking is an essential skill. um, what are some of the benefits of problem solving and critical thinking? One, it enhances decision making. So strong problem solving skills lead to better decisions, as employees can weigh the pros and cons of different options. So now, uh, that I think that attributes to to problem solving and critical thinking. Through the both of them, you're able to weigh the pros and cons. You're able to look at things in different perspectives, and you're able to now weigh the strength of a certain decision as compared to the strength of another decision. So you're able to weigh the pros and cons of different options, and that way you're able to come up with a better decision, unlike making a decision hastily. When you think about it, you're able to come down to a more effective decision. So it enhances decision making. Secondly, it drives innovation. Employees who think critically can propose new ideas and solutions, contributing to a culture of continuous improvement. So that goes on to critical. When you joined as a team and everyone is thinking critically about a certain situation, you guys are able to pitch creative ideas to each other, and that way you'll, how do I say it? You're able to propose new ideas. You're able to brainstorm on other solutions and all that, and that way it drives innovation and continuous improvement. The third importance is that it helps in navigating challenges. Individuals who can think critically and solve problems are more adaptable and resilient. Okay, some of the steps to develop problem solving skills are: the first step is you identify the problem. You need to first identify a problem for you to, like, now develop your problem solving skills. There has to be a problem. You need to identify a problem, and then you break down the problem. Now break down the problem into bits, now into bits, and then now brainstorm on some of the possible solutions that could be used to work on the problem that you identified. And then after brainstorming the solutions, you now evaluate the various options. Just like I said in critical thinking, when you critically think about it, you'll look at it from different angles. So possibly you'll have different solutions that could be used for the problem that you've discovered. So evaluate the different options, weigh the pros and cons of the options that you've come with, and then now when you go down to one solution, implement that solution. After now you've implemented that solution, you reflect on the outcome of that solution. You reflect on the outcomes of now after implementing the solutions that you thought. You reflect on now the outcomes, and then learn from both the successes and failures, so that you don't, the next time you're tackling the same situation, you will even handle it better. Okay, so the fourth category was teamwork and collaboration. So teamwork refers to the collaborative efforts of a group of individuals working towards a common goal. In today's work environment, many projects require cross-functional teams, meaning that employees must be able to work together effectively to leverage diverse skills and perspectives. Effective teamwork relies on clear understanding of roles, responsibilities, and objectives. I had mentioned that earlier. um, for teamwork to work, for you guys to have to work on projects effectively, let's say in a team, there has to be a clear understanding of roles, responsibilities, and objectives. Everyone needs to know what is expected of them, at what time, and all that. So some of the key components of effective teamwork: we have clear communication. Just like I said, with clear communication, everyone knows what is expected of them at what time, and then everyone is comfortable sharing ideas and asking questions and providing feedback. So there's that room. You've created that safe space for every team member to feel heard, for every team member to be able to contribute their ideas into the project and all that, for them to be able to ask questions and even provide feedback. This transparency helps prevent misunderstanding and foster collaborative environment. The second component is conflict resolution. In a group setting, you understand that you guys are different people, different individuals with different thinking processes, that have come together to work on maybe a project. So when you guys come together like that, conflicts are bound to happen sometimes, because, as I said, you people are different. So you need to have constructive conflict resolution strategies. For example, addressing issues directly and respectfully, seeking a common and respectfully, and then seeking a common ground and focusing on solutions rather than on personal differences. You need to be able to effectively communicate with each other. That's one. And then you need to set up a conflict resolution strategy. How you guys will be able to go through situations when you're facing different, when you guys have different opinions. How do you guys go about it to ensure that you guys reach a common ground and all of that? So there's also shared goals and responsibilities. Establishing clear common objectives is essential for effective teamwork. Each team member should understand their role and how it contributes to the team's overall mission. This clarity ensures accountability and motivates individuals to work towards the collective goal. That's just like I've said. Everyone needs to know what's expected of them and at what time. So the fifth category was adaptability and flexibility. Adaptability refers to the ability to adjust to new conditions and changes in the environment. It involves being open to new ideas and different approaches when facing challenges. Flexibility, on the other hand, is closely related to adaptability, and it involves now the willingness to change plans or methods in response to shifting circumstances. For example, when an organization is going through change, there's some employees who are so rigid that they don't embrace the change. So they are not flexible enough to embrace that change. In the modern workplace, the modern workplace is characterized by rapid changes due to the technological advancements, market dynamics, and shifting consumer demands. Employees must be able to pivot quickly to meet new challenges and seize opportunities. So you need to be employers, for example, if this is something that most employers are seeking right now. They need someone who is able to adapt to different changes effectively and in a way that it doesn't affect their performance. Someone who is flexible enough to adapt to different changing conditions. Some of the key components of adaptability, we have open-mindedness. You need to be open-minded. You need to be able to embrace new ideas and perspectives. You need to be willing to learn from others and consider alternative solutions. It's just to foster that environment of innovation. Like, you need to be open-minded. You need to be able to embrace change. You need to be ready for change and embrace it. The second component is resilience. That is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and maintain a positive outlook despite challenges is vital. Resilient individuals can navigate difficulties and continue to move forward. You need to be resilient in that you need to quickly bounce back. You don't dwell on, like, when something brings you down, when a certain setback brings you down, you don't dwell on that. You need to be able to bounce back quickly in a way that it doesn't affect your performance. Then there is also curiosity. A strong desire to learn and understand new concepts can drive adaptability. You need to be curious. You need to be for example, when you have technological advancements, like right now we have the AIs and stuff. You need to be curious. You need to want to know how to navigate those changes. You need to want to know those new concepts that can drive adaptability. And then there is also proactive attitude. Being proactive involves anticipating potential challenges and preparing for them in advance. Individuals who take initiative and plan ahead are often more successful in adapting to new situations. You need to be informed, stay informed with the current trends, and you need to anticipate what are some of the challenges that comes with these changes, and what do we do once that challenge now comes. You need to be proactive. The last category we had leadership and responsibility. Leadership and responsibility are crucial soft skills that contribute to personal and professional growth. Um, they involve the ability to inspire and guide others while taking ownership of one's actions and decisions. Leadership is not just about holding a position of power, it's about influencing and motivating others to achieve common goals. Good leaders create an environment where team members feel valued and empowered. Also, effective leaders articulate a clear vision for their team or organization, providing direction and purpose. This clarity helps team members understand how their roles contribute to the broader objectives. Um, just as I said earlier, just having the title leader is not enough. You need to have those attributes for you to be able to inspire and motivate others, for you to be able to guide them in a certain direction. You need to articulate a clear vision for your team members or organization to follow. You need to provide that direction, and you also need to hold, like, to be held accountable. You need to own up to your actions, decisions, and outcomes. A responsible leader admits to mistakes, learns from them, and takes steps to rectify any issues that arise. So, being a leader doesn't mean that you're always right. And I read from a certain book by Mark Goldstone that said, a leader is made by how much that person listens more than speaks. You need to be able to listen to your team for you to be able to even lead them, because by listening to them, by listening to your team, you're able to understand some of the setbacks that they face, and that way you're able to give them a clearer direction towards the right path. The leaders set the tone for their teams by exemplifying the behaviors and attitudes they expect from others. Also, good leaders encourage team members to take initiative and responsibility for their tasks, fostering a culture of ownership and accountability within the team. So, how do we develop soft skills? Number one, we have self-assessment. Just as I said earlier, you need to identify your strengths and weaknesses. Once you identify those strengths and weaknesses, how do you work on them? For example, the weaknesses. If you identify that you have maybe a weakness, your communication skills are low, you need to set specific, the SMART goals. SMART, that is specific, measurable, achievable, attainable, relevant, and time bound time bound goals. You need to set SMART goals uh, for you to be able to develop those skills, for you to be able to work on those weaknesses. You need to set goals so that you're able to gauge yourself on how you're doing, the progress that you're making in developing those skills. Then you also need to seek feedback. Seek feedback from your peers, supervisors, and mentors, so that they provide valuable insights into your soft skills. Let's say you are slacking in your let's say you are slacking in your public speaking skills, and you have a mentor who is guiding you through it. Ask them about the progress, how they're seeing you progress. Ask them what you can do to improve and all that. Just seek feedback. Constructive criticism can highlight areas that may not be apparent during self-assessment. Self-assessment might be biased, because when it comes to when it comes to self-assessment, it goes down to how you're seeing how you're seeing the setbacks yourselves. But when you involve another person, that person might see something that you might not have already seen. And then we have continuous learning. You enroll in workshops, courses, and seminars focused on soft skills development. For example, if you identified a weakness, a soft skill weakness in yourself, you can look for workshops that train on that particular soft skill, and work on developing it. And then there's also practice. You need to now, those things, the skills that you've learned, you need to put them in work now, in real time situations, in real world scenarios. You need to apply them. And then there's also mentorship. You need to find a mentor who can provide guidance, who can give you honest guidance, share experiences, and offer advice on navigating those interpersonal challenges. So in conclusion, we've said that soft skills are essential for personal and professional growth. They play a crucial role in enhancing relationships and improving workplace dynamics. While technical skills are necessary for job performance, soft skills ensure effective collaboration, communication, and problem solving, making them equally important. That's why there are some of the soft skills. You might be qualified for a certain job. Two people might be qualified for one job, but if one of them doesn't show great interpersonal skills, it also goes down to how well you might have the technical skills for this job, but how well will you be able to maneuver, how well will you be able to work with your team, because most positions, they require you to work in a team. So how well will you be able to work in that team, or how well will you even be able to relate to even to your superiors and as well as your team members? So it goes down to that. So you might miss an opportunity just because your interpersonal skills were so low, and the other person, someone, you might even be qualified, technically you're qualified than the other person, but now just because you don't have good interpersonal skills, you get disqualified, because without those interpersonal skills, you will not be able to work with the others. And for that work to be done, you need to be able to work with the others well. You need to be able to relate with the others well. So also, sorry. Also, developing soft skills is an ongoing process. Regular practice, self-reflection are vital to mastering these abilities and adapting to changing environments. Also, strong soft skills can significantly influence career advancement, leading to better job opportunities, promotions, and leadership roles. I don't know if you've seen instances where someone has been picked out of a group. There's nothing special about that person, but that maybe your boss has picked someone out of your entire group to be your leader, to hold a leadership position. Your boss must have seen something in that person that showed them that they can effectively lead. You see, so it can get you job opportunities. There's some people who get jobs just by how you speak. You see, for example, in networking events, there's some people who get jobs through networking events. So you have to have shown good communication skills. You have to have shown those good interpersonal skills, not just communication, good interpersonal skills. You need to have shown them for that person to have selected you just by talking to you. You see, so just by having those good interpersonal skills, you can get better job opportunities, you can get promoted through that, and you can even be delegated for leadership positions. Investing in your soft skills is investing in your future. The ability to connect, communicate, and collaborate will set you apart in any field. So I think that goes down to what I've just said. When you have great interpersonal skills sometimes are so important. As much as technical skills are important, you need to have great interpersonal skills for you to be able to excel in any role. It's actually in any role whatsoever. Even if you're working remotely, there are some times when you'll have to send emails and all that, because in communication, remember we said communication can be verbal and verbal, it can be written. You need to have great interpersonal skills for you to excel in those roles. You need to know how to structure your information and how to relay it in a way that will be understood by everyone. So I think that's all from my end, unless I'll hand it over to Maureen.
Thank you, Michelle, for delivering such an extensive and insightful presentation. I'd like to encourage everyone to feel free to ask any question that they may have. This is a great opportunity to deepen your understanding. There's a text. There's a question from Bethwell who said, "Can you repeat on posture sitting, please, Michelle?"
um when I talked about posture, it goes down to, for example, I gave an example of, for example, in an interview, right? you go to an interview, you're not maintaining eye contact, maybe you're facing down and all that. There's an information that already communicates. You need to have an open posture, like sit in an inviting way, show your openness, like sit in an open posture, maintain eye contact, like show that person that you're trying to communicate with that you're interested in the conversation and that you're attentive. So, when you're fidgeting, you're facing down and all that, umejikunja and all that, it communicates disinterest in the conversation that you're trying to have. So posture goes down to have an open posture, maintain eye contact, include the non-verbal cues that we talked about, like nodding, like necessary non-verbal cues as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other question? You are free to unmute and ask your question as well. I guess there's no question. Jimmy and Njeri, they're saying great presentation, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
So if there are no more questions, I'd like to give a special thanks to our sponsors who are Impact Team for sponsoring our today's webinar and conversations with Katiba. As well, we have our contact details. We are located at Maendeleo House opposite Anniversary Towers. That's JCV's 6th floor, and the office suite is number 617. We are available and we're present on LinkedIn, we're on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, as well as Facebook. You're free to text or reach out through the numbers. You can save the number and reach out in case you want any of our services and more. So thank you once again. KM said, I love it, though I joined late. Looking forward for the next. So we have our webinars every Thursday from 8 to 9. We are sorry for the